Well, grand rising, and welcome to Ilana Monet's Motivational Moment. Before I start, I must do what? My salutations. Aboragani. Assalamu alaikum. Ikahru. Now that I've done my salutations, let's get into the meat of the message for today. Now, today we're going to talk about the African American history before 1865. Okay, Africa before the slave trade. Now, Africa's rich history before the slave trade is a tapestry of diverse cultures, diverse civilizations, from ancient Egypt to the empires of West Africa. The continent saw the rise of complex societies, innovation of technologies, and extensive trade networks. These early African societies developed unique social structures, economic systems, and cultural practices. They left long-lasting legacies that will shape the continent's history and continue to influence modern American societies, despite the later impact of slavery and colonization. Now, here is a geographical overview of Africa. Africa is the second largest continent in the world, covering approximately 11.7 million square miles. It's comprised of about 20% of the Earth's total land area. Diverse geological includes vast deserts, Sahara, tropical rainforests, Congo and Basin, savannas, mountain ranges, which is the Atlantis Mountains. Major rivers play a crucial role in the development of civilization and trade routes. There was the Nile River, which is the longest river in the world. And it was essential to the Egyptian civilization. The Niger River, which was vital to the growth of the West African empires like Mali and Senegal. Then there's the Congo River, which supports the dense rainfalls of Central America. Now, the climate varies greatly across the continent, from hot and rigid in the north to humid and tropical in the central and west regions. Abundant natural resources, including gold, salt, ivory, various minerals, have shaped Africa's economic and political history. Now, in the early African civilization, which was in Egypt, one of the earliest and most influential colonizations in Africa. They developed along the Nile River using its annual floods for agriculture. Known for their hieroglyphic writing systems, pyramid, and powerful pharaohs. North culture was the early Iron Age civilization in present-day Nigeria, skilled in iron smithing and terracotta sculptures. Nubia, which was the ancient civilization of the Nile Valley, which is south of Egypt. King of Kema, Nepa, and Mera were influential in the region, known for their distinctive pottery, jewelry, and pyramids. Aksum, which is a powerful kingdom in present-day Ethiopia. It controlled the Red Sea trade and mints in its currency. It adopted Christianity in the 4th century. Ghana Empire, earliest known empire in West Africa, controlled the trans-Saharan gold and salt trade, influenced and developed the later West Africa empires like Mali and Ghana. Social and political structures. Many early African societies were often organized into small, kin-based groups or clans. Lineage played a crucial role in the determining of the social structures and political power. Centralizing states and empires emerged, often based on control over the trade route and sources. Examples include the Ghana Empire, the Maui Empire, the Sangwan Empire in West Africa. Rulers held significant political and sometimes religious authority. Monarchies were common in the African society. Kings and queens often had divinity status and were responsible for the well-being of their subjects. Age-guarded systems were used in some societies to organize individuals based on their age and assign specific roles and responsibilities. Slavery existed in various of the pre-colonial era, different from chattel slavery, later practiced by the Europeans. Slavery or slaves in Africa could sometimes achieve high status or even gain their freedom. The economic systems and trade. Agriculture was a foundational of most African economies. Crops varied by region, including sorghum, millet, yams, and bananas. Pastoralism was common in area unsuitable for farming, which communities raised cattle, goat, and sheep. Trade played a vital role in the development of African society. Trans-Sahara trade connected West Africa with North Africa and the Mediterranean world. Major trade routes include gold, salt, ivory, and slaves. Each African coast site, particularly in the Indian River trade network. Swahili city-states like Kawali and Mombasa traded in the Arabic, Persian, and India. Wow. Socialization and craftsmanship were highly valued. Skilled persons produced textiles, pottery, metalwork, and jewelry. Guides and approximately systems maintain the pass on of knowledge, which would just mean by word of mouth, because a lot of our language or a lot of us relaying our history was from the word of mouth, okay? Currency and forms of exchange varied across the continent. Some society used cowrie shells, beads, or metal bars as currencies. Others relied on the barter system or gift exchange. The cultural and religious practice. Oral traditions played a critical role in preserving history, knowledge, and cultural values. I'm going to say that again. Oral traditions played a critical role in preserving history, knowledge, and culture. And just to put a pin right there, it seems that we are going back to that right now, since a lot of African American books that talk about slavery are being removed from the shelves, from the public library, from different areas. We are going to have to go back to oral traditions, keeping those oral traditions alive. Grouse in South Africa were professional storytellers and historians, and I consider myself a Grouse. I tell stories, I paint pictures. Okay, now in the traditional African religions was beliefs were often localized and diverse. Belief in supreme creatures, gods were common, along with variations of ancestor and natural spirits. Rituals, festival, and sacrifices were important aspects of the religious practice. Islam spread through most of Africa through trade and conquest. Particularly influenced in North America, the Sahara region and the Swahili coast led to the development of Islamic states and the spread of the Arabic literacy. Christians also had a presence in some parts of Africa, notably the Kingdom of Exum and Ethiopian Empire. Arts and music was often integral into the African culture. Sculptures, masks, and decorative objects served both as an aesthetic and religious purposes. Music and dancing were often used for ceremony and celebrations. Now, the technological advances. Ironworking was a significant technological development in early African civilization. Enabled the production of tools, weapons, and agricultural implements. Nork cultures in West Africa was one of the earliest to develop ironsmithing techniques. Advances in agriculture, such as terrying, integrating crop rotation, increased food production. Bananas, originally from Southeast Asia, were introduced to Africa and became an important crop. Textiles producers, including cotton weaving and dyeing, which highly developed in many African societies. Kente cloths from the Ashanti Kingdom in West Africa is a notable example. Agriculture and construction techniques vary from across the continent. Monumental statues like the pyramids of Egypt and the more showcase involved engineering skills. Dry stone culture was used in the Great Zimbabwe and the other southern African sites. Meantime, technologies such as the crow and outrigger canoes and other southern African sites were along the east coast. Swahili cities stayed in more general centers of the trade in the Indian Ocean. Now here are a couple of historical figures. Mufasa Musan was the ruler of Mali Empire, known for his wealth and his pilgrimage to Mecca. His reign marked the highest of Mali's power and influence in West Africa. The next one is Sodente Keita, founder of the Mali Empire. He defended the Samo Kingdom and established a strong civilized or centralized state. Awiki Muhammad, rule of the Seneha Empire, expanded the empire's territory and promoted Islam learning. Izana, the king of Azum, and was converted to Christianity. His reign marks the beginning of Christianity as official language of the official region or religion for Azum. Queen Nzinga and his Queen Anna Nzinga, the queen of Matubo people in the present-day Angola. She resisted the Portuguese colonization and fought for her people independence. Now, the impact on later African history. The legacies of early African civilization continue to shape the continent's history. Islamic states and empires such as Sokoto built upon the foundations of early Islam kingdoms. Trade networks established in the pre-colonial era facilitate the spread of ideas, technological, and cultural practices. The Swahili language, a mix of Bantu and Arabic, developed as a result of Indian Ocean trade. The wealth and power of pre-colonial African states attracted Ethiopian interest. The transatlantic slave trade and colonization had devastating consequences for African societies. Africans resisted to Europeans' colonization, drew up upon organizational structure and military tactics for pre-colonial status. The Ashanti Empire in West Africa and the Zulu Kingdom in South Africa are examples of the state that resisted colonization expansion. The cultural histories of early African societies continue to influence modern American Day societies. The traditional religion, art forms, and social structures have endured an adaptation in face of historical changes. Now, these are just a little bit of knowledge that happened or that was in place before the Portuguese came over to conquer a lot of places within Africa. Okay, Africa had a rich foundation before we were taken from there to Brazil and then taken to South Africa. I'm sorry, South Africa, South America, Europe, a lot of different places that we ended up in. So that's just a little bit of some of the stuff that we will be going over. Now, tomorrow we will talk about the the European expansion and early colonization. We will talk about that tomorrow. But just to let you know, this was the history before 1865, and it was Africa before the slave trade. Africa before the slave trade. We had a history. We had a lot of different things already in line before they came over. And then they had enough nerve to call us savages. Yeah. So with that being said, guys, I've got to go. I love you, but God loves you more. As you always know, I will see you at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. Oh, just to let you know, on my face, these are markings of royalty. It is of the Yoruba tribe. And this tells the people that come across me or in my area that I am royalty and to respect my position. That being said, bye, guys.